Pay attention, because this is where most men get it wrong. You think she doesn't care when you pull away, assuming that she's already moved on, untouched by your absence. But the reality is, it gets to her. The silence doesn't just sit there. It plays tricks on her mind, making her question and wonder. First, she might act like nothing's changed. She'll put on a strong face, convincing herself, and maybe even you, that she's unfazed. But behind closed doors, that's where the truth reveals itself. The thoughts creep in, and doubts begin to settle. Here's the part most men don't understand. It's not just the silence that makes her miss you. It's what follows. The space you leave behind forces her to feel your absence, to compare what was with what is now. That's what lingers. That's what shifts the balance. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to handle this the right way, not with games or manipulation, but with a mindset that puts you back in control. Stay with me and let's break this down. Number 1. She starts reaching out, but not how you'd expect. At first, she was certain there was no way she'd text you. She told herself she was fine, that she didn't need to hear from you. But now she hesitates. Her thumb hovers over your name, her mind racing as she debates whether to send that message. She held strong for days, maybe even weeks, convinced that silence was power, that ignoring you would keep her in control. But here's the thing. Silence has a way of creeping up on people. It gets inside their heads, makes them question everything, and eventually, she breaks. But not in the way you might think. She won't just say, "I miss you," or "I regret what happened." That would be too direct, too vulnerable. Instead, she plays it safe. "Hey, I just saw something that reminded me of you." It seems innocent, but make no mistake, this isn't random. It's calculated. Or maybe it's even subtler. A like on one of your old posts, a quick reaction to something on your story. It's her way of testing the waters, seeing if you'll take the bait. She's wondering, have you moved on? Do you still care? Here's where most men slip up. They respond too quickly and too warmly. The moment she gets that validation, she pulls back again. She got what she wanted. Proof that she still holds space in your mind. But if you stay distant, if you keep your response cold, brief, or don't respond at all, that's when things shift. That's when she starts to feel it. The absence becomes real. Her ego takes the hit, and suddenly, she's no longer in control. That's when she begins to miss you, because if she didn't, she wouldn't feel the need to reach out in the first place. Number 2, she becomes more active on social media. Have you ever noticed that the moment you go silent, she suddenly starts posting more? It's not a coincidence. When someone misses you but doesn't want to admit it, they'll do the next best thing. They'll try to get your attention without actually reaching out. So what does she do? She turns to social media. More selfies than usual, each one looking better than the last, as if she's glowing without you. Her captions become cryptic, something vague but meaningful. Everything happens for a reason, or lessons learned. Maybe a line from a heartbreak song, a lyric that just happens to fit your situation, just enough to make you stop scrolling, just enough to make you wonder. And then there are the throwback pictures, a memory from when you were together, strategically placed on her feed, knowing full well you'll see it. Or posts about relationships, heartbreak, and self-improvement, topics that feel a little too relevant to be random. Sometimes she'll take it a step further. A picture with someone else, maybe a guy or just a group setting where she looks like she's having the time of her life. Not because she's moved on, but because she wants you to think she has. She wants to plant a seed of doubt, making you question, is she already over me? But here's the real key. The more you don't react, the more it drives her crazy. If she's pushing these buttons and you're not biting, it starts to eat at her. That's when she starts feeling like she's losing control over you. And when that happens, that's when the real shift begins. Number 3, she starts asking about you through mutual friends. When a woman truly misses you but is too stubborn to reach out, she won't just sit there wondering. Instead, she'll start looking for answers. If she can't get them from you, she'll find another way. So what does she do? She asks around. At first, it's subtle. A casual question dropped into conversation, like, "Hey, how's he been?" Or "Is he seeing anyone?" But don't be fooled. That's not what she really wants to know. What she's actually asking is he struggling without me? She wants to hear that you've been checking her social media, that you've been talking about her, or that maybe, just maybe, you're still holding on to hope. Because that would mean she still has a hold on you. That would mean she still matters. But what if the answer comes back differently? When she hears that you're doing just fine, that you're not asking about her, not reaching out, not reacting. That's when it stings the most. She expected you to be affected, to be missing her, waiting for her, checking in, something. Instead, you're quiet, calm, and unbothered, and that drives her insane. In her mind, a man who truly cared would still be thinking about her. He'd still be struggling with her absence. Now doubt starts creeping in. Was I not that important to him? Did he already move on? Wait, what if he found someone else? And the moment those thoughts take over, the power shifts. She's no longer in control, you are. Number 4. She suddenly starts appearing where you are. Now, this is where things get interesting. If she knows your routine, where you work out, the coffee shop you frequent, or the bar or club you like, don't be surprised if you start randomly running into her. But here's the truth. It's not random at all. It's intentional and calculated. She knows that by showing up, looking her best, acting confident, and seeming completely unbothered, she'll force you to notice her. She won't make it obvious. She might act surprised like, "Oh wow, I didn't expect to see you here." But deep down, she knew exactly what she was doing. She wanted to put herself in your line of sight to remind you of what you once had and see if you still react. Now that you understand how this works, you'll be better prepared to handle it. Stay grounded. Don't fall into the trap of thinking it's just coincidence. And most importantly, maintain your power. Because in the end, actions speak louder than words. And once you learn to read the signs, you'll never look at these random encounters the same way again. Number 5. She starts dropping hints that she regrets losing you. When someone genuinely misses you, they won't always come right out and say it. Instead, they'll leave breadcrumbs. Subtle signs that they want you back without actually admitting it. Maybe she posts something on social media about fixing past mistakes or learning lessons the hard way. A vague quote that just happens to match your situation. Maybe she randomly texts you about an old memory, bringing up something you both shared, just to see if you'll engage. And sometimes she gets more direct. Out of nowhere, you get a message, "I miss talking to you." Short, simple, but loaded with meaning. But the biggest sign? She apologizes, even if it's subtle. It won't always be a grand gesture. Instead, it might sound like, "I know I could have handled things better. I didn't appreciate you enough. I never wanted things to turn out this way." At this point, her pride is breaking down. She realizes what she's lost. She knows she took you for granted. But the real question is, what will you do? That's entirely up to you. But if you want to keep her wondering, the best move is to leave her with uncertainty. Because here's the truth. Once a woman truly realizes she lost someone she values, she won't forget it. That feeling sticks with her. Final thoughts. By now, you understand the psychology behind what happens when you pull away. Silence is powerful, but only if you use it correctly. Stay in control. Stay unbothered. Let her actions speak louder than her words. Because when she truly misses you, you won't have to wonder, her behavior will tell you. Number 6. She becomes overly emotional or defensive. First, she played it cool. She acted as if losing you meant nothing. She smiled, laughed, and carried on, convincing herself that moving on was easy. But over time, something shifts. The silence starts to get to her. The reality of losing you begins to sink in. Suddenly, she doesn't know how to handle it. She thought she was strong enough to walk away without a second thought. She convinced herself that cutting you off was the best decision. But emotions don't just disappear. The deeper her attachment was, the stronger her reaction will be when she realizes she no longer has access to you. So what does she do? She becomes emotionally unpredictable. One moment, she's on social media posting selfies, looking her best, laughing with friends, trying to prove to the world and to herself that she's thriving. The next moment, her mood shifts. You hear from mutual friends that she's been snapping at people for no reason, getting irritated over the smallest things. Maybe she starts arguments over things that never used to bother her. Here's the interesting part. These reactions might have nothing to do with you on the surface, but deep down, they're all connected. The emotional stress is building up, and she doesn't know how to release it. Then, if you happen to run into her or interact in some indirect way, you might notice she's acting differently, cold, distant. Maybe she even throws a passive-aggressive comment your way or, worse, lashes out. This might make you think she's moved on and doesn't care anymore. But that's where most men get it wrong. The truth is, if she truly didn't care, she wouldn't react at all. A woman who is genuinely moved on won't go out of her way to act cold. She won't try to make you jealous, post cryptic messages, or suddenly get defensive when your name is brought up. If she was really over it, she'd be indifferent. Instead, she's all over the place emotionally because, deep down, she still feels something. And this is where the power dynamic shifts. While she's losing control over her emotions, you stay steady, calm, focused, unbothered. You're not playing the game, and that imbalance drives her crazy. She expected you to react, to chase, to give her a reason to believe she still matters to you. But when you don't, that's when she starts to realize maybe she was the one who lost. Number 7. She starts reappearing in places you used to go. One of the clearest signs a woman has you on her mind is when she starts showing up in places she knows you'll be. You might brush it off as chance, but let's be real, it's no accident. A woman who's truly done with you doesn't wander into places tied to your past. She'd steer clear of anything that stirs up memories. But when she misses you, when that empty space you left starts gnawing at her, she'll chase echoes of what used to be. Suddenly, she's there at the coffee shop you used to visit every morning, even though she never cared for it before. You're at the gym, grinding through your routine, and there she is, signing up like it's her new thing. When mutual friends have a get-together, she's the first to RSVP. She's not just showing up. She's strategizing. It gets deeper. She might accidentally cross your path at the grocery store she never shops at or linger at an event you're attending, playing it off as spontaneous. She knows your habits, where you walk, where you unwind, and now she's strolling through those same streets. She's not subtle either. She's dressed sharper than usual, her hair perfectly styled, laughing a little too loud, almost like she's putting on a show. She wants your eyes on her, hoping you'll catch her glow and feel that old spark flicker. Maybe she'll flash a smile, toss her head back, and act like life's never been better. But don't be fooled. She's watching you from the corner of her eye, gauging every move you make. Here's the truth. She's testing the waters, dangling herself in front of you, wondering if she still pulls at your strings. Deep down, she's asking, does he still feel me? Does my shadow still linger in his world? This is where you hold the reins. If you rush over, grin like a kid, or let her see you're rattled, she has the upper hand. You've handed her the win. But if you stay steady, nod politely, keep your cool, and walk away unshaken, you're the one in charge. A man who has mastered himself doesn't bend to these games. She's not there by fate. She's there by choice. Her showing up isn't about coffee or the gym. It's about you. How you respond decides the story. Stay calm and keep your power. Number 8. She begins to hint that she is unhappy. When a woman misses you but won't say it outright, she lets it leak in quiet ways. At first, she plays it tough, posting photos with friends, grinning wide, acting like she's thriving without you. But the facade doesn't hold forever. Soon you'll spot the cracks. Maybe it's a song lyric she posts late at night, something heavy with longing that hits too close to home, or a cryptic quote about letting go of something rare. Words that feel like they're meant for you. She might even share a photo of that old spot you used to hang out at. No caption, just the image, dangling there like bait. These aren't random moves. She's tossing out signals, hoping you'll catch them and make the first move. She's too stubborn to call you herself. She wants you to crack first so she can tell herself you're the one still hooked, that you couldn't stay away. It's her little game of pride. But here's where you hold the cards, man. She's dropping these hints because your absence is eating at her. She's not as happy as she pretends. And every day you stay silent, that truth sinks deeper. She's starting to see it. Maybe she's the one who fumbled, not you. You don't have to rush in and save her from that. Let her sit with it. The longer she stews, the more she wrestles with what she's lost. She's got a choice coming. Swallow that stubborn streak and admit she needs you, or keep pretending and watch you slip away for good. This is your strength. You don't chase. A man who knows his worth doesn't scramble after breadcrumbs. She's the one dropping them, and you decide if they're worth picking up. Stay steady and you keep the upper hand. Number 9. She's pulling out the jealousy card, trying to rattle your cage. When a woman's aching for you but pissed that you're not running after her, she might turn to a sly little tactic. Picture this. She posts a photo cozied up to some random guy, banking on you scrolling by, or she drops a hint to a buddy you both know about a new date, knowing damn well it'll get back to you. Maybe she's even bold enough to flirt with someone right where you can see, waiting for your jaw to tighten. Here's the deal, though. She's not doing this because she's moved on. If she was really over you, she wouldn't bother staging this show. A woman who's done doesn't care if you notice her living her life. No, this is a calculated move. She's fishing for a sign that you're still hooked. She's dying to know if she can still make your blood boil. Don't bite, man. That's the trap. If you fire off a text, get all worked up, or show her she's got you twisted, she wins. She'll know she still has a leash on your emotions. You've just handed her the reins. Instead, play it cool. Act like you didn't even blink at her little game. The less you flinch, the more it'll drive her nuts. She's expecting you to crack. Maybe call her out, maybe stew in silence. But when you don't, that's when she starts sweating. Her plans are falling flat, and she's the one left spinning. This is your power, indifference. A man who's got himself under control doesn't let these stunts shake him. She's not posting that pic for the other guy. She's doing it for you. The more you shrug it off, the more she's forced to face the truth. Her grip is slipping. That's when the game flips, and you're the one holding the cards. Number 10. She's hit her limit. She's reaching out to you at last. After all the games, those posts online, the subtle jabs, the jealousy ploys, she sees none of it's moving you. So here she is, swallowing her pride, doing what she swore she'd never do. She fires off a message. It might start light. Something easy like, "Hey, how are you holding up? Just checking in." Or maybe it's a whoops, wrong text. Don't be fooled, it's not a mistake. She's been stewing over you for weeks, maybe months. This isn't random. It's her breaking point. She's tried everything else to get your attention, and you didn't budge. Now she's waving the white flag, hoping you'll bite. She's not just curious. She's restless, wondering if you've let her go for good. Her words might sound calm, but her mind's a mess. Here's where it gets real, man. This is your shot to steer things. You've stayed steady through her tricks, and now she's stepping into your ring. How you play it decides everything. Rush in too eagerly and she's back in control. She'll know she still has you wrapped up. But if you stay cool, reply slow and simple, you'll make her feel that ache grow. You're not here to fix her. You're here to stand your ground. A man who's got himself together doesn't leap at every text. She's the one who cracked, not you. Let her sit with that, and she'll miss you deeper than she ever thought.